Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this very, very pleasant occasion, which is, of course, the announcement of the Poet Laureate of Jamaica. Welcome to Minister McNeil, Minister Crawford, and all the VIPs I see seated in front of me. We have worked, I would say, pretty hard as an entertainment board for the past 2 years, doing all sorts of things, because one might not imagine all the multitude of aspects of our creative industries we cover and have to deal with at one level or another, but there are many and several. But one of the most pleasant of them is to have worked with the National Library in arriving at today's position where we can now announce a Poet Laureate for Jamaica for the first time in several years. At this time, without more, I'm going to ask Ms. Kelly Magnus, the Vice Chairman of the National Library of Jamaica, to welcome you properly.
Minister of Tourism and Entertainment, the Honorable McNeil, State Minister, Honorable Dean Crawford, members of the Entertainment Advisory Board and the Board of the National Library of Jamaica, the National Librarian Mrs. Winston Hudson, Ms. Delia Harris, the Principal Director of Culture in the Ministry of Youth and Culture, friends, readers all, good morning. Welcome to the National Library of Jamaica. It is my privilege to extend that welcome this morning on behalf of our chairman, Dr. Carlton Davis, who is an ardent supporter of this initiative, but unfortunately was called away by the Prime Minister this morning. He, the board, and the staff of the National Library of Jamaica are truly excited to be here for this morning's announcement, or to welcome you here for this morning's announcement. As the last time a Poet Laureate was named for Jamaica, at least I can speak for myself, I had not yet been born, and several of us in this room had not. It was in 1953, 61 years ago. And I think the fact that the reintroduction of the program is a partnership between the National Library, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, and the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment is a sign that Jamaica is now firmly grasping both the economic and cultural significance of the literary arts. I am not going to stay too long at the podium because our partners will fill you in more. Mrs. Harris will speak to you about the cultural significance of the program, and the Minister will speak about the value of the partnership and how it will improve Kingston's reputation as a culture city. So I'll just say that we, the National Library, see this program as a strong fit with our essential role as a national library, which is to collect, catalog, preserve, and promote national knowledge. And I can tell from the people who are assembled in this room that I don't have to tell you who are here the value of poetry in the formation of national knowledge and cultural identity. One objective of the program is to add to the poetry collection specifically, which already includes manuscripts of the last Poet Laureate of Jamaica, J.E. Clare McFarlane, the famous Una Marsan, and of course the much-loved Louise Bennett. Documents which emanate from the Poet Laureate's activities will be added to this collection and will be fodder for study and research for academics for years to come. The National Library is pleased to be doing its part in what truly looks like a literary renaissance for Jamaica, so we thank you for joining us here this morning to share in the launch.
Without more, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask Delia Harris, the Principal Director of Culture in the Ministry of Youth and Culture, to come forward and give us her remarks.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Minister of Tourism and Entertainment, Dr. the Honorable Wickham McNeil, and Minister of State, the Honorable Damien Crawford. Ms. Kelly Magnus, Vice Chairman of the Board of Management of the National Library of Jamaica, Kingsley Cooper, Chairman of the Entertainment Advisory Board, and other members of the board represented here this morning. Dr. Michael Buckner, Head of Department, Literatures in English, University of the West Indies, Mona. Ms. Anne-Marie Bonner, Executive Director, Institute of Jamaica. Mrs. Winsome Hudson, National Librarian, it's a big task, and CEO of the National Library of Jamaica, along with her team from the NLJ, members of the media, invited guests, a pleasant morning to you all. On behalf of the Honorable Lisa Hanna, Minister of Youth and Culture, I would like to express how delighted we are to be partnering with the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment through our agency, the National Library of Jamaica, on not only renewing the Poet Laureate program here in Jamaica, but in significantly raising its profile to that of national recognition. Wycliffe Bennett, in his introductory essay for the Anthology of the Poetry of the West Indies, offers that the first exposition of the poetry of the Caribbean, staged by the Institute of Jamaica in 1951 and sponsored by the Poetry League of Jamaica, demonstrated graphically that of all the art forms, poetry provided the greatest insight into the spiritual development of the emergent West Indian society. Throughout his essay, Bennett plots an interesting map of the early development of poetry here in Jamaica, reflecting a journey from preoccupations with Jamaica as a landscape, as evidenced in the anthology Summerland, which included this piece from one of Jamaica's laureates, J.E. Clare McFarlane, called Frontispiece. But thou, O beauty, art a pledge that there is purpose in thy mold, that yet, beyond the horizon's edge, a summerland that grows not old, nor yield to winter's dread embrace its heritage of green and gold, and thou shalt grow from grace to grace, immortal in thy native place. So beauty springs from Jamaica. And then we developed a poetry driven by a freedom to speak of ourselves through forms, content, and language, which seem more reflective of who we are as a people, illustrating the complexities of the individual and the national journey. Bennett also argued that a synthesis in Caribbean culture, as expressed through poetry, could also be determined. That despite barriers of language and space, poetry proved a successful conduit between the many nations of the Americas. Poetry, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, and may I add, Jamaican poetry, is a crucial cultural form, not simply for its artistic and entertainment value, but for the ways in which it seeks to construct a narrative of our island through the lens of home. The ways in which it connects to and inspires Jamaican spirits and souls across the globe. The ways in which it broadens and addresses international concepts of this brand that is Jamaica. The ways in which it displays the uniqueness that is Jamaican creative expression. Today, a poet will be named to join McFarlane and Tom Redcliffe as laureates of Jamaica. While the selection recognizes the achievements of that individual, I must underscore that the program also places huge responsibility on their shoulders. At a time when the government of Jamaica has placed emphasis on the cultural and creative industries, creative expression in all forms must not only be encouraged, but we are committed to providing and supporting the necessary programs to enhance the development of the practitioners within the various sectors of the industries. The Laureate program is a significant part of how the government not only intends to preserve and archive national memory, but will also be instrumental in how we develop and encourage the talents of poets island-wide. How we inspire Jamaicans to express themselves in forms inspired by an island that has been the muse of so many creative people around the world. I want to commend the Entertainment Board and the NLJ on this initiative. It is not only a fine example of how the various sectors within government interact, support, and merge efforts towards sustainable national development, but also how seriously we view the business of culture and of entertainment. The first poem I heard from the laureate, I was 6 at the JCDC Festival of the Arts. I can tell you that I was stunned. I could not believe that words that seemed so simple could have been so powerful, and I remember them to this day. So I'd like to express heartiest congratulations to the laureate. We look forward to your tenure and the impact that it will have on Jamaicans across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Delia. Today, for the first time in 50 years, we announce and honor a Poet Laureate for Jamaica. This is a national honor and recognizes a distinguished Jamaican poet for his or her significant contribution to the literary community. The Poet Laureate is expected to stimulate a greater appreciation of Jamaican poetry, write poems for national occasions, and preserve and disseminate the island's cultural heritage through prose. The Poet Laureate program is a joint initiative of the Entertainment Advisory Board and the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, and the National Library of Jamaica. It is financed by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. We want to publicly acknowledge and emphasize our appreciation of all the partners who came together to make this possible. I'm not so sure it's appropriate to sort of single out anyone, but I do remember Justine coming to the board with great enthusiasm for this project. Justine Hensel, who sits right here, and I just want to acknowledge her because that, in my mind, is when the whole process started to build some momentum. It is that time, and I'm asking the Honorable Dr. Wickham McNeil, the Minister of Tourism and Entertainment, to come forward and announce to Jamaica who our new Poet Laureate, the first in 50 years, is going to be. Thank you.
The Master of Ceremonies, Kingsley Cooper, Honorable Minister Damien Crawford, Minister of State, Delia Harris, representing the Minister of Youth and Culture, Ms. Winston Hudson, a National Librarian, all other protocols observed. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. No, I am not nomads. Although I've been trying to get Damien to join the band for some time now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is wonderful to be here today to announce Jamaica's first Poet Laureate in 60 years, who has been selected from an esteemed group of highly acclaimed poets whose literary works have enriched our cultural landscape. We're here today because of a collaborative process between the National Library of Jamaica, the Entertainment Advisory Board of the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment, and the Ministry of Youth and Culture. At this point, I wish to apologize for the Honorable Minister Lisa Hanna, who wanted to be here but is unavoidably absent. Let me personally thank Mrs. Winston Hudson, the National Librarian, and Justine Hensel, the Chair of the Subcommittee on Literary Arts on the Entertainment Advisory Board, who have been warriors and champions for the investiture of a Poet Laureate. Also, I want to say special thanks to Minister of State Damien Crawford, who has portfolio responsibility for entertainment, and also to the entire Entertainment Advisory Board, including its chairman, Mr. Kingsley Cooper, and the members of the 9-person selection committee who had the difficult task of choosing Jamaica's Poet Laureate from an esteemed pool of persons. As in the majority of countries that have a Poet Laureate, the National Library will be the secretariat and focal point for the Poet Laureate program. The Tourism Enhancement Fund contributed $3.4 million to this literary program, and I anticipate that after these first 3 years, which is term of office for the Poet Laureate, other entities will also believe in the importance of this literary renaissance and support the program. It is a truism that a country that does not embrace its culture will never be economically prosperous. Our ministry is mindful of this, and we are continuously working to strengthen the linkages between tourism, entertainment, and culture. Brand Jamaica is so much more than sun, sand, and sea, and we want to give visitors more of what Jamaica has to offer. Cultural experiences, including craft, food, literary, and music festivals, help to make Jamaica an even more attractive place to live, work, raise families, do business, and visit. Recognizing and enhancing Jamaica's cultural offerings form part of our ongoing initiative to diversify the tourism product, which will give us a competitive edge in the face of global competition. Jamaica's Poet Laureate program will help to positively position the island as a key cultural tourism destination by helping to revitalize the arts and preserve our rich literary history. The project dovetails perfectly with our efforts to use programs such as Arts in the Park, 90 Days of Summer, and Reggae Month in February to increase support for and give greater exposure to our local art forms while using Jamaica's cultural strength as a tourism attractor. For a small country, Jamaica is believed by many to be poetry in motion. There is poetry in our music, our dance, our running. It is a country that has produced many great poets who have explored the essence of our culture and given voice to the aspirations of our people. Poets such as J.E. Claire McFarlane, Claude McCabe, Linton Kwesi Johnson, Jean Binta Breeze, Louise Bennett Coverley, Lorna Goodison, and Edward Ball, just to name a few. The Poet Laureate of Jamaica will work with the National Library to stimulate the writing and reading of poetry by the public and develop a greater appreciation for language, the written word, and hopefully inspire a new generation of writers. Equally important is the fact that the Poet Laureate will play a proactive role in promoting poetry as an art and medium for entertainment which captures and disseminates cultural heritage. The person who was chosen by the selection committee remains one of the most resourceful and technically brilliant of Caribbean poets. He attended the University College of the West Indies, Mona campus, and then won a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University, where he began his academic career. He received the Order of Merit in 2009. Alongside his own collections, he has written extensively on West Indian literature and edited various anthologies, as well as the selected poems of Louis Bennett, the iconic Jamaican poet. His poetry eschews obvious historical causes, rather taking up the abiding concerns of all men: spiritual love and desire, mutability and mortality, friendship and betrayal, joy and grief. He's a supreme poet of the everyday, and many of his poems are shards of personal memory, fragments of autobiography. He moves from social observation to fleeting introspection with iconic detachment. His craft and intellect join in refining language and feeling to tellingly spare effect. Although a serious poet, he's also a performer, a wisecracking cynical, versifier with a sharp wit and a sparkling gift for ingenious rhymes. Complex simplicity is a hallmark of this man's poetry, and he often tells painful truths, but without rancor. It therefore gives me great pleasure to announce that the Poet Laureate of Jamaica is distinguished poet and academic, Professor Mervyn Morris. Professor Morris, congratulations on being selected to assume this distinguished and exciting role. We look forward to you taking on the prestigious mantle of Poet Laureate and continuing your outstanding contribution to local and Caribbean literature. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank you.
Before I ask our new Poet Laureate, Professor Morris, to come forward, I just want to say a big thank you to Minister McNeil for the support he has given us at the Entertainment Board, and of course, Mr. Crawford, who is the point man, and who has made so much happen in a very short time by his enthusiasm and his support of our initiatives. None of this would have been possible without the hard-working team at the ministry. Our directors of entertainment, Gillian McDaniel, Tafari Gillian, the senior director, Tafari, the director. They have worked tirelessly to meet our agenda. Thank you all, and Professor Morris, it is my distinct pleasure to ask you to come forward and say a few words.
Master of Ceremonies, Ministers, the head of the National Library, the Executive Director of the Institute, friends, colleagues, my head of department, well, I'm retired now, but he's still my head of department at the university, and everyone else, friends, colleagues, thank you for being here. I feel as though a vision has descended upon me. I look forward to helping to fulfill the intentions of this award. But at this stage, I have a lot of detailed discussion ahead of me to understand exactly what my role can be. I think I understand a fair amount about the relation to culture and the encouragement of writing, and I'm especially keen to help to put many poets in closer contact with the potential Jamaican audience. That is certainly my priority. I look forward to learning just how any work that I do and can arrange to have done can assist in promoting tourism and entertainment. And I'm very grateful for the fact that it's clear that this project is funded by tourism and entertainment. So I am grateful and look forward to cooperating in great detail. I think that the role of the media will be extremely important in anything we try to do. Apart from putting poets in contact with schools and colleges and so on, apart from the occasional poetry reading or workshop, if we can put Jamaican poems, not necessarily new poems, in front of a wider public that is currently available to them, this will be, I think, a major service to Jamaican culture and entertainment. I'd like to thank everyone who has been involved with this project. I'm particularly aware of the people I have had discussions with in recent weeks. The head of the National Library, Mrs. Winsome Hudson, and Justine Hensel, who is of the Entertainment Advisory Board. I would like to end simply by reading before nomads, or in the absence of nomads, Peel and Orange. I was very glad to see this on the back. I didn't know it to be here today, but I knew it to be here at some stage in one or other of the functions. It's a poem which is important to me because it speaks for the striving of all artists, really, for achieving what we never quite achieve, but we go back and try again. Peeling orange. They used to say, you peel an orange perfect and you get new clothes. But when my father tried to teach me, slide the knife up to the safeguard thumb, I moved the weapon like a saw in my hand and the damn rind break. And if you have the time, you can come see me in my old clothes, peeling.
Anybody in here know how to peel an orange? I'm sure you know how to peel an orange. I've been trying that thing for years. You know, and sometimes you get the paper skin orange, you know, the one with little thin skin, and you try to go through where your knife have an extra sharp, you know. Because if your knife is a little bit dull, you know, Tommy, if it's dull, you know, it's not going to work, you know. It's not going to work, you know. One love to Professor Mervyn Morris. Peeling orange. damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. Them used to say, your pillar orange, perfect and you get new clothes. So when my father tried to teach, me slide the knife up to me safeguard tongue and the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. Oh, the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. I took the weapon like a saw in a me hand and the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. The damn rhyme bread. So if you have the time, you can come see me. In me own clothes peeling for the damn rhyme bread. Oh yes, the damn rhyme bread. And the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. And the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. Oh, the damn rhyme bread. Peeling orange. Peeling orange. Peeling orange. And the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. Me used to think your pillar orange, perfect and you get new clothes. So when me father tried to teach, me slide the knife up to the safeguard tongue and the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. Me use the weapon like a saw in a me hand and the damn rhyme bread. Yes, the damn rhyme bread. Oh, the damn rhyme bread. So, if you have the time, you can come see me in me own clothes peeling for the damn rhyme bread. Oh yes, the damn rhyme bread. Say it with me, man. For the damn rhyme bread. Upstairs. And the damn rhyme bread. See, you're not afraid to say down. And the damn rhyme bread. And the damn rhyme bread. Damn rhyme bread.
What is this? What is? Protest, unrest, and one more time.
Our system is put to the test.
What is?
Teacher teach, lawyer law, preacher preach, police a draft.
What is?
Pearl Harbor! Hiroshima!
Twin Tower. Jamaica. Pearl Harbor. Hiroshima. Twin Tower. Pushing down Roscoe. Bongo clap 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 pushing down Roscoe. Bongo clap. What did you just say? Mr. Perkins. Hello, am I here? What's that profanity?
What's that curse word? Come on.
No.
Alright.
I have an uncle. His name is Bongo.
Okay.
Bongo Clark.
Okay.
Bongo Clark.
What you do?
Him pushing a car.
Oh.
Just a little car.
Oh, what kind of car?
No grass. Respect and blessings. Round of applause for Professor Mervyn Morris. Feel nice. We love that one, man. I want to record it, Professor. Nice. Give that.
Congratulations again, Professor Morris. It is absolutely wonderful that today has come, and we look forward to all that will emanate from this honor that has been bestowed upon you. And we won't be expecting you to sing or dance in any hotel. So you need have no fear of that. Well, I see Minister McNeil trying to extract the proverbial pound. As an entertainment board, it's been a pleasure to be involved in this, and there's so many other things that we've been doing, and I hope to see you all again when we talk to the press and to the public about some of our other projects, like the noise abatement work we've been doing, the entertainment registry, arts in the park, the new event rating system, and things like what we just enjoyed, the Reggae Month in Kingston for February, 90 Days of Summer, coming up shortly, venue upgrades, and our artist ambassador program. So you see, we've been busy. And it takes a while to bring these projects to a culmination and to a realization and to a fulfillment, and that has happened in one of these projects today. So I'm going to now ask the head of the National Library, Mr. Vincent Hudson, to come forward and to do the acknowledgements. Vincent.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Poet Laureate, Mr. Morris and Mrs. Morris, it is my task and pleasure to give thanks for what you will agree with me is a wonderful day in Jamaica's history. And today's event is a great example of collaboration, a great example of the good that can happen when strengths and resources are pooled. And I'm truly pleased to acknowledge the persons and institutions who have been largely responsible for making this day, April 15, 2014, one for Jamaica's literary history. As you have heard, it has been 61 years since Jamaica named a Poet Laureate. And as you have heard, this time around the naming though has the stamp of approval of the government by way of cabinet approval. This is no mean accomplishment, ladies and gentlemen, and is due largely to the vision of Ministers McNeil and Crawford for knowing that the well-written and spoken verse had breadth and depth to our human experience, and that Jamaica is hungry for public opportunities to hear poetry. Not the least is that naming a Poet Laureate allows Jamaica to rub shoulders with the more enlightened countries which have a long tradition of active Poet Laureateship. On your behalf, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give thanks again to McNeil and Crawford, Ministers McNeil and Crawford, for their stubbornness in making sure that when they expected hurdles with any initiative, you're going to run into hurdles, and we did face some hurdles, but they stayed the course. And please forgive me for quoting a non-Jamaican on this historic Jamaican Day, but I can't resist the quote attributed to John F. Kennedy, which says that, quote, if more politicians knew poetry and more poets knew politics, I'm convinced the world would be a little better place in which to live. I'm convinced that Jamaica is going to be a little better place to live because through this Poet Laureate program, Jamaicans will have more opportunities to share the joys which poetry brings. Acknowledgements also to my own Board of Management, represented here today by Professor Federer and Marie Bonner and Kelly Magnus. For when the proposal was brought to them, they never for 1 second hesitated, for they readily understood how this initiative is a natural fit for the purpose of a national library. I am pleased to let you know that this is not a one-time project for the energy, but from this moment on, it will be embedded in our services. By saying this and saying that, ladies and gentlemen, this morning's historic affair would not have happened without the real and tangible support of the Tourism Enhancement Fund. And I see Mr. Smith, Director of the fund, who is here, and we want to thank you on Jamaica's behalf for putting your money where your mouth is. But this Poet Laureate program, ladies and gentlemen, takes money. And the TF, as you heard Mr. McNeil say, has granted $2.4 million to be spent over the next 3 years to advance the program. Could you please give TF? I also want to second what has already been said, that today could not have happened without the determination of the Entertainment Advisory Board, and in particular the work of Justine Hensel and the support of Senior Director of Entertainment, Gillian McDaniel, and her public and relations marketing team and the ministry who played major roles in getting us to this point on the program. And a round of applause for them. But most of all, ladies and gentlemen, I want to acknowledge and thank the critical role of the members of the public who not only thought about it, but acted on the invitation to submit nominations. The first nomination came in from Canada, and the nominations were all enthusiastic for naming a Poet Laureate for Jamaica. The staff of the National Library of Jamaica, I want to thank them on your behalf for their wholehearted support of this activity. And of course to the media for your presence and what we know will be lots of coverage for this new initiative. And finally, on your behalf, acknowledgements and gratitude to our Poet Laureate for all the work you do and will do to help Jamaicans understand and love ourselves a little bit better because of poetry. Again, in closing, thank you for coming, and I invite you to mingle and read and to stay around for a little while and join us for some refreshments. Thank you again.
Thank you, Winsome Hudson, National Librarian and CEO of the National Library of Jamaica. This is the time for any questions that any member of the press or public present might wish to ask. So, go ahead. I know we've been pretty thorough in our presentation, so you probably have very little that you need to ask. But yes. Thank you all for coming. And this has been a wonderful day, Professor. And we look forward. Thank you.